pretty
boys.
excited that Toby made the trip all the way up so he could be in the studio to fill in for Logan because Logan, he's doing the whole coaching thing, and I'm pretty sure me and Toby caught the tail end of the game, even though Toby didn't really know he was catching the tail end of the game, and I think his team won. So
Yeah.
seeing how nobody else really cares, congrats to him, and maybe he'll be in studio next week, or maybe he'll miss the third or fourth week in a row. But either way, people that didn't miss the week is producer Zach and his big five head, Brandon J McDermott, and they call me Toby, live from the studio. He even brought, just in case you see it, potentially, if producer Zach doesn't know how to turn the volume down on the phone before the show, so we were doing sound check. But if you see the chicken, he did bring, I thought it was a little interesting, he did bring a chicken with him, but sometimes you just need a companion on the road trip. But either way, this is this is episode 160, the Beard Laws podcast. Can't thank you guys enough. We're gonna do something new tonight. We're gonna do I guess it would not like a fantasy draft. I don't know. It's not really a fantasy draft. We're gonna draft our favorite Halloween candies. So I'm assuming there's gonna be some debate. There's going to be some arguments. And at the end of this debate, we need you, the viewers, to vote on who the winner is. Producer Zach is going to keep tally. I don't know why I pointed here because, well, in the studio, he's way over there. But we're going to keep look, we got our first LinkedIn viewer. What's up? We're doing fantastic.
For those professional guys.
Yeah, professional. And we're going to keep track. You guys are going to vote on who wins based on the Halloween candies that we draft. It's going to be similar to if you have never done fantasy sports. It's going to be what they call in the biz a snake draft. So whoever goes last also goes first in the second round. So say hypothetically Toby goes last, he gets the fourth and fifth pick. And then I would say if I go first, but we'll determine the order. And then we also have a news article that it's pretty tragic. What do they call that? Did we call it the water tragedy? Wash tragedy. We'll talk about that as well. Interesting story that I was curious to. When we get into it, we'll make sure that you guys will definitely get your 2 cents, maybe even 10 cents on that. So hopefully you guys are good. Any like mild 30-second complaints or any good things that have happened to you guys?
Just one. I don't think Zach showered, so I'm gonna go back to my house for the rest of the show. Cool.
Okay, it's probably for the best. It's probably for the best.
This is much more comfortable. Now it smells like chicken and pigs.
And now he's got a weird. He's got like is that like a newer hoodie like style where they do one sleeve a different color or is that old school? Like how long have you had the hoodie?
I've had it for about 2 years.
Okay, so it's newer.
Yep.
Do you remember back when people used to have a hoodie, but they'd cut the sleeves off and then they'd wear another sweatshirt underneath it?
Oh no, those are we wore those as warm-ups for wrestling my junior year.
We used to have that, and then you'd wear a t-shirt underneath it. But I remember when people would wear another sweatshirt underneath it. I'm like, why?
That says a lot.
Yeah.
I don't remember that fad.
I mean,
I
I
just
guess
feel claustrophobic.
as far as wrestling goes, it wouldn't have been a bad idea to try to lose, cut weight, cut that water weight right before the meet and right before weigh-ins.
Interesting. So Brandon, everything's good in your world? Ish?
Everything's good-ish. You know how it goes. Busy, man.
Yep.
Excited to be here, though.
Hey, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And obviously you're always hustling, always working. So that's that's good though. Glad you guys are here. Do you guys want to get into the wash tragedy, or do you want to jump right into the Halloween debate and get this shit
going? I gotta know about this tragedy.
Let's go with the tragedy. And it was a good segue when you said you didn't think Zach showered, so you went there, and I thought you saw the article, but you clearly didn't. Thanks, Elo, for sending me this article. It just came out, I think, a day or two ago. There was a man, 94 years old, passed away, which you're thinking, hey, that happens. But he was the world's dirtiest man. He went 67 years without showering, washing, or anything because he thought that it would make him ill. He apparently showered, and within days after showering, he passed away.
Well,
I feel like this is Toby's spirit animal, not because what I'm going to say first. Yeah, I'm going to go with this one first. He would like to smoke his cigarettes 4 at a time. 4 at a time, this guy. Seriously. But he would also like to smoke animal dung. That was his thing. He would smoke animal dung out of a pipe.
Out of a bit of dirty steel pipe.
Yes.
I mean, I can kind of understand living long enough, if you're covered in enough grime and everything, like your body's used to like that kind of bacteria, but it's also acting at a certain point, it's going to act as a barrier for like other things to get into your skin.
Yep.
So I can understand it's like the difference between when we were growing up, we drank out of the water, we drank out of the garden hose out of the front yard. You
don't do
ate
that
dirt,
anymore?
all the stuff. Now everything's Purell and like pure, everything's,
sanitized. Well, we did go through a pandemic that changed it a little
so
bit.
kids actually get sick easier nowadays than they did when we were growing up.
Yep.
So I understand that, but how do you live to, what was he, 90 years old?
94 years old.
Yeah, smoking. Well, I can't say anything about smoking either, because I know people that would smoke 4 packs a day and
Yep.
live to be in their mid to late 90s. But the animal dung?
Yeah, and guess what? He primarily ate for food. If there was any, I mean, it's probably harder to guess because he smoked animal shit.
Yeah, I'm really afraid to ask or know. But
Well, I'm just gonna tell you, he primarily only ate uncooked porcupine roadkill,
of course he would. Why wouldn't he? Jesus
and he
Christ.
drank his water from puddles out of a rusty oil can. Yeah, as a food guy, Brandon, how does that make you feel?
You can't. The argument on the other side is, look, the guy lived to be what, 85?
94.
94. You can't argue with that kind of results.
Mhm.
I think he's probably the exception to the rule. Like the old woman, you've seen the video of her drinking Dr. Pepper, talking about how 3 doctors in her life told her to stop drinking Dr. Pepper, and 2 of them have died before her.
Yep.
There are exceptions to that rule. The grumpier old men with Burgess Meredith talking about the bacon scene. You know what I'm talking about. So still, you're going to live 95 years. You should live some of those years in a good way. Smoking dung, rusty pipe water, nah, probably not it for me.
Yep.
My argument has always been everybody's body is obviously different, but it's also going to tell you what it needs. So, I mean, I've known people that have, like my grandmother, she was a extreme functional alcoholic, but I mean, she was always drunk. I could never tell. I guess grandpa and maybe my dad were the only ones that were ever able to tell, but they forced her to quit drinking. And 4 months later, dropped dead.
Same thing. Yeah, I mean, I know people that quit smoking. Same thing. But this is wild. Like the life and the harassment that this guy also kind of went through. They did a documentary on him at one point in like 2013. It was The Strange Life of, how would you say it, Jack? Yeah, Jack. Producer Zach. I was trying to mix all the words together.
Amu Haji.
Amu Haji. They call him Uncle Haji out of respect. I guess it's a like an Iranian. Go ahead, Brandon.
I just see Toby up there, and I think he and I are on the same page. Documentary?
Documentary?
I know.
Yes, I did it to try to trigger you guys.
I knew you were fucking with us. All right.
Logan's not here, so I have to at least keep him in spirits here. But I wanted to say it and then see if Toby exploded, and I could see it out of the corner of my eye.
Look how red my face got.
Gotcha. I'm just trying to get you going for the fantasy draft, and we're gonna need the viewers and obviously you guys to come up with a clever name for this. This is the first one, but it was called The Strange Life of Amu Haji. They made it about his life in 2013. He obviously was the unofficial world's dirtiest man. He had not washed for 60-something years. He was outside a village, just kind of living in a in this shack. Let me present the screen here. Lived in the shack outside of town. At one point, he ran a grocery store. He owned and ran a grocery store, but because he didn't shower, customers and everything stopped coming in, so he decided to be a farmer. Here he is smoking animal dung.
Sure.
I'm assuming it tastes as shitty as it looks and smells, but I don't know. Clearly cuts his own hair. Does a pretty mediocre job. There he is, smoking 4 cigarettes at a time. I mean, what is wild to me, too, is they ended up doing, at one point, he went and saw doctors. They ran all these tests, and as they put in here, he was fairly healthy. I don't know why the test included this or why it came up there, but they tested him for HIV and hepatitis. He was good.
He has a very interesting beard care routine too, man.
Yes, tell him about it.
He would not wash, but grooming was still important to him. He would occasionally trim his beard and hair by burning it off with an open flame.
Mm-hmm. He was a big fan of what he call the fire bath, and that was his way of bathing. But he rejected water in favor of this fire bath.
Well, now I know when you get your hair cut, like over in Iraq and Kuwait, they light a cotton ball on fire, and they pop it all the way around your skin and your ears in order to burn off all the little hairs that they just trimmed.
Mm-hmm. This is him after the fire bath.
Right.
Interesting life. But yeah, he just kind of drank from puddles, slept wherever. But yeah, right there, test revealed he was actually
I was well groomed today, and that is just like tripled in my mind now as far as like my feelings about that.
Yeah, but apparently, yeah, at one point, villagers and everything, they picked him up, put him in some kind of vehicle to go put him in the water to rinse him and whatever, and he actually escaped and jumped out of a moving vehicle because he was that against it. People would come, and especially after the film that they did, The Strange Life of Amu Haji, they would come by, they would throw rocks at him, they were nasty to him. People just suck. Like, the guy stinks, but he lives outside of the village. Like, why do you have to?
It's not like he's harming anybody else.
He's going there. He's cleaning up your roadkill.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He's smoking your animal shit, and you're going to throw a rock over your dick. Yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, rest in peace to Uncle Haji. We'll have a moment of silence for him right now. And that was a brief moment of silence for him.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Did the article say what he died of?
Not in
94.
Natural causes?
I didn't say, or I didn't see the official death. And the article that I have was the-sun.com. I know you were on another. It's all over the internet, but there's no.
I was on the Irish Mirror.
Okay. No. It wasn't from HIV or hepatitis, so I guess I don't really know. We'll call it natural causes.
Hashtag COVID related.
Yeah. But either way. Oh, so Grim says it's going to be. I mean, he wouldn't be 94 in 2 years. Your math's a little wrong.
Get your shit together, Grim.
And what's crazy too, the whole in relation to the animal dong, when the Eagles won in Philadelphia, they went to the streets. They were having crazy parades and all this stuff, and they thought it was a good idea at some point to eat horse shit from the police on animals. So shit got weird in Philly, and if the Phillies win the World Series, expect it to get weird again. But
what a beautiful city! So much culture,
and Rocky playing, but. Yeah, interesting times to be alive. So rest in peace to him. And it was an absolute wash tragedy. I don't know if it was ironic, like Alanis Morissette said, that he showered and then passed within a short amount of time, or maybe his body rejected, like kind of Toby mentioned. Did you guys see? It was either a bug or it was a spirit that just flew by Toby's chair. I saw that.
It was a chicken.
It wasn't a chicken.
Very fast chicken.
That was creepy.
I got a birthday gift from Grimlock today.
Oh shit! Oh, lawn darts! I have a set of those. I don't have the rings anymore, but I have a set of lawn darts.
Did you just get a dart, or is it a set?
I got 5, so I'm missing one red one.
Okay.
We can 3D print that though.
He could, but you can't 3D print the metal.
I could probably just put this in a mold. Right? Like take each piece apart and rebuild it and just make sure that the head and the center rod are still steel and everything else you just 3D print.
It is funny. We did say it at the same time. We're good like that. Oh, did you get a shuttlecock as well?
2.
Ooh, a pair of shuttlecocks. Very nice.
It's like Jesus.
In case I wanted to play badminton.
Okay. I think he looks good all the time, Nita, but apparently he just looks good today.
Don't lie today. The number of people that were like, I like your new haircut was just astounding.
Yes, I like your new haircut because you took your hat off.
Makes you look about 10 years younger.
People that are not used to seeing me without a hat.
It is funny. You look good. Either way, I mean, Yeah, you don't have the what is it, clocks and color green hat on today, but you're
right.
You're looking good.
What is that hat you always wear, Toby?
I just told you.
It's from a company called Clocks and Colors. They make jewelry mainly.
Oh, okay.
You didn't believe me?
I didn't know that. I didn't know what those words were that you said.
Oh,
yeah. It's
Kind of
Clocks
like
and
that
Colors.
text you sent in the group earlier.
yeah, I
Yeah,
have
they-
no idea. But I did Google it after, and I don't really want to bring it up. I'll let you guys know in the group chat what it
Okay.
is.
Yeah, they got a hold of me one time, asked me to if I wanted to promote some of their products, and they gave me like a budget. So I got this necklace, I got another necklace that Peyton wears, I got a small ring that I gave to somebody as a pinky ring, that hat, 2 shirts, and a hoodie.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And their stuff is not cheap
Nice.
at all. Oh, and a pair of really heavy, solid steel dice.
Ooh, I've seen those dice.
Skulls that have skulls is the
How many
number
sides are on those dice?
6.
6.
Ooh, a little D6 action. Nice.
D6. The Mighty Ducks. Last game. D6. So, all right. You guys ready to do this? I'm excited for it. I can't contain it anymore. The Halloween candy draft, and we have a cool little thing that we're going to put up here to keep track of it. Producer Zach is going to edit as we go. So I think the only fair way is to random the draft order. So we'll do a random name generator. If I can do this, no, we don't need to generate names. Random. We'll do a wheel of names. Wheel of names to determine the order.
Like a picker wheel of names.
Yeah, wheelofnames.com. So we have Beard Laws. We have Toby.
You could always use it just to pick the very first one, and then we could just go counterclockwise on the screen from there, from that point on.
I found this. The Wheel of Names. Close the ad. All right, here we go. The first one up in the number 1 pick in tonight's Halloween candy draft is... The suspense is going to kill me.
It doesn't have the really cool spinner sound.
It does. Not as cool, though. Is...
Producer Zach.
Number 1 pick is going to be Producer Zach. So if you want to edit it with the number 1 where it said Beard Laws, just put in Producer Zach. All right, we removed you. You're gone, Producer Zach. So number 2 pick. The sound is really not. I should have done that. It's going to be Brandon. Brandon with the number 2 pick on the Halloween candy. Congratulations, Brandon. Looks like it's down to me and you, Toby. Best of luck.
Let's
for
do
the
it.
3rd and 4th pick. And remember, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Toby. Looks like I'm bringing up the rear, boys. All right, Toby in the 3 spot. We do have Logan on there just because when I edited it. That's
too many did-it-its.
Yeah, edited it, and I just threw him on there. Going forward, I assume he will come back to the show. So we're just going to put him in the 5 spot, and we'll put random things in there. Or no, why don't we do... I was going to say viewers, but that'll be too confusing. We'll just put Logan in there, and we'll have some fun. We'll put some funny stuff in there. There's our notes. There's our notes.
To answer the chicken question, we're at right around 50.
50. Holy shit, I wasn't expecting that. And how many aggressive turkeys?
Roosters alone, we're at, I think, 8.
How many times do you sing, "Here comes the rooster"?
I don't ever.
No.
But we do have 4 turkeys. All of them are male. 6 turkeys. 4 are male, and we have 1 female, and she has a baby, and we don't know what her baby is yet. But she only comes onto the land periodically.
Okay.
Because she's trying to keep the baby protected. So.
Okay. We should start doing a poll, and we'll do a little contest, male or female on that turkey. Because turkeys can still just be male or female, right? Or do we have to?
Oh yeah, no, they can still be male or female.
I didn't know it. 2022. Shit's weird. I didn't.
Yeah, you have hens and toms.
Yeah, they have beards. I used to hunt turkeys. Got one, retired. Just was done with it. I started having to realize how much work it is to clean it when I could just go to a store and purchase one.
Everybody's like, "So you eat your chickens?" I'm like, "You know how much work it is to pluck a chicken for real? Like, unless you have one of those machines that has all the little rubber nubs in it, where you can just drop it in the tub and it sprays water and
Rub-a-dub-dub, put that turkey in the tub. Around here, you can bring them to the Amish, and they will clean chickens for like $1 a bird or something crazy.
Oh.
You pass it on your way to your house, man.
Well, not all Amish clean. There's certain ones that clean.
No, there is. On the way here, I pass it every time I come in. You pass it every day you're going to work.
They
Same.
advertise that
Yeah.
they clean.
It's a custom poultry. It says right on the sign. It's custom poultry processing.
No shit. Apparently, I can't read. The guy up the road from me, John, he does cabinetry work. He's got a killer shop. Anyways, nobody cares about that. Let's get into this. So, how it's going to work? Press full screen on that if you don't mind.
I have my pick on there already.
Oh, well, get rid of the pick.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No spoilers. All right. So go full screen on that. This is what it's going to look like. Every time we have a guess or a submission, we're going to put it on here. Then by the time, obviously, we're going to go through there, we're each going to have 5 picks. And then you, the viewers, you're going to vote on who has the best team. So it's going to go Zach, Brandon, Toby, me, Toby, Brandon, Zach, Brandon. We'll go through there and we'll have some fun with this. We're going to go through the candies. And I think this is going to be fun. You guys have any questions? Pretty self-explanatory, right?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory and straightforward.
Yep. So in the we did a poll just to kind of throw out, I guess, who thinks what candy's the best, and you guys can see it in there. We'll leave it up there for a little bit. We're right now 54% are all about Reese's, and 15% are other Twix and Snickers. Snickers is second, Twix is third. So for the best Halloween candy, feel free to continue to vote. And then what we'll do is at the end we're going to put the 4 of us. Who wins, you guys vote on it, and we'll go from there. Maybe we'll even throw it on social media, have the images, maybe do a little tickety-tock, and you guys can vote on that.
A little tickety-tock.
Little tickety-tock. All right.
Tickety-tock.
Here we go. Crikey McGack is having a little beard envy.
Hey, Craig, he came into my live.
Saw one of these little tree air fresheners for your car, and it said Fresh Save. That's got to be terrible. It's got to be
Fresh
terrible.
Shave scented.
Yeah, not a big fan of it. It probably smelled just like what Barbasol.
Like,
Depending on the brand, could have been made right here in the North Country, though.
That fucking ends up in there, I'm going to be angry. So, all right. Producer Zach is on the clock, the virtual clock, but he already knows his answer. He already had it typed in, and he already has it typed. So once you go full screen.
For the first pick in the 2022 Halloween candy draft, the producer Zach has been select Twix.
There it is. All right.
Not a bad choice, but I feel like we need to define which Twix.
I'm talking the classic mini.
Classic caramel.
Just
Twix.
the classic caramel. I've tried the cookies and cream, tried the brownie, tried the salted caramel. I'm an OG Twix guy.
Okay. All right. Brandon, how do you feel about that? You know, obviously you're on the clock and Twix is off the board. I feel like you're not going to be heartbroken about that.
I feel like he just took Ryan Leaf in the 1998 NFL draft, and I'm going
There's
to
just as much meth.
Brandon, we need your microphone closer to you, buddy.
It's not working. This is where it always is. How about now? Can you hear me?
As soon as you started facing it, it sounded great, but you sounded really far away for a moment.
How about now? Can you hear me over here?
Way better.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird.
So I feel like he chose Ryan Leaf in the NFL draft in 1998. Now I'm going to take Peyton Manning with Reese's.
Ah, solid.
Nice.
I knew that wasn't going to fall to me, but solid choice. Twix, Reese's, off the board. That leaves you, Toby, with your first pick. Obviously, no Twix, no Reese's.
I'm going to leave old Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning in the dust, and I am going to, as my first round draft pick, I am going to go ahead and pick Joe Montana with full-size Snickers.
Oh, okay. All right. Joe Montana. It's off the board. And, you all right?
Yeah. Okay. It's just Snicker.
A Snicker due to formatting. Next time, so you could just, there's a little font thing. Just press the minus button, drop it down. You'll be good.
Okay.
But yeah, so we got Twix, Reese's, Snicker, and I'm going to be on the board for 2. And I won't waste a lot of time. I'm going to go first one, Kit Kat. I'm going to go with the Kit Kat. I want to break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. All the quarterback jokes I have in my head, I'm going to, I guess I was going to go with the Joe Theismann with the Kit Kat and the break.
Oh,
Would have been a good one. It would have been a good one.
I mean, I still threw it out there, so I think it counts. But if anybody hasn't done that, I do not go and Google the injury.
Oh God, no! You can
don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
maybe with my next pick, I'll go Lawrence Taylor and do pixie sticks.
Well, see, and that was gonna be the thing is a lot of people don't realize. You think Joe Theismann and you think Lawrence Taylor, and it doesn't register in your head that they were live, like playing at the same time.
Yes.
Just like, what was it, Anne Frank and Martin Luther King Jr.?
So for Logan, he's obviously not here. Producer Zach has free will to put whatever he wants in there for his first pick.
Let's see who put something nasty in the chat.
Fucking candy corn.
Oh.
I see gobstoppers. Gobstoppers are awful.
Okay. I was thinking more along the lines like beer, whiskey.
Yeah, but those are good.
Well, no, because that would
bacon.
He would appreciate that.
True. Okay. So Logan, he's got to there. So I'm next up on the clock. My next pick, I'm gonna go with the classic Hershey bars. I'm gonna go Hershey's.
Okay.
A Hershey bar with there. I feel like there's some good options out there, but my number 2 pick is gonna be Hershey's. So
really can't go wrong with just standard chocolate, man. Like, honestly,
can't. It's a classic. I think in every Halloween basket. So yeah, here it is. We got the Twix, Reese's, Snickers, Kit Kat, Hershey's. Logan's got a gobstopper over there. We're gonna have to throw something in there for his second pick as we go. But Toby,
it's me again,
you're on the clock.
Oh,
Ricky
man.
says hashtag Jaeger bacon. Oof.
Hey,
you know what?
there we go.
I'm gonna have to go with Twizzlers.
Oh, I like it.
So clearly you didn't see my trade request then come into your inbox.
Mm.
I didn't know that we have trade requests in the.
I think hashtag producer Zach's being a smartass.
It's pretty on
Right.
brand for me.
Okay, so that puts Brandon back on the clock, and then producer Zach will be up for 2. So to recap, here we go. We have Twix, Reese's, Snickers, Twizzlers, Kit Kat, Hershey's. Logan's just hanging out. None of his really count. He can't win this draft. And again, if anybody has any clever names I just did Beard Loss draft. We'll come up with some better names, and obviously the topic will be on the bottom. Halloween candy. We're going to try to do something like this each week with different stuff. But it seems fitting that Halloween's coming up. We did Halloween candy. All right, Brandon.
I'm going to take a classic, crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery Butterfinger.
Classic. I debated it, but I had to go. I had to go with the Hershey's. Hershey's.
I feel like it's a little bit of a reach in the second round. We'll see how it pans out for you.
How the hell is that a reach? Dude just took Twizzlers.
Twizzlers was at the top of my draft chart. If I wasn't good, I assumed Twix wasn't going to be available when it got to me.
Listeners, now you know why I'm the food daddy, and they're just some guys who talk about food sometimes in dark rooms when nobody's listening.
What a pompous!
And I just got a text message from a buddy that said Butterfingers. Come on, man. Apparently, they think that I messed up, and I reached with the Hershey's at the number 5 pick. So I'm sorry to let you down, Tommy. And just like I went with the Ravens +2, hopefully I didn't let you down here. But all right. No mic stand. All right, so that we got producer Zach is now up in the number 1 spot. He has back-to-back picks, so hopefully he will reach and mess up on his own. So producer Zach, you're typing them both up, or are you going one at a time?
I'll do one at a time.
One at a time. All right. Once so what we got a little system. Once I see it full screen on the screen, I know that I can present it to you guys. It's not quite there yet. He's doing some editing. So I'm curious. Brandon, any predictions? Oh, you don't want to probably do a prediction because then you give away what he's got going on here. So again, for anybody just joining, we're doing a kind of like a fantasy style draft, but instead of sports stuff, we're doing Halloween candy.
I'm thinking he's going to go with Boston baked beans or black licorice.
Oh, dude, I'm going to put Boston baked beans on my draft chart though.
Interesting. So much talk of like sugary, amazing. Oh, look at those.
They're awful. Fucking awful.
Wait, what did you just have?
I hate those so much.
Oh my God. When I was a kid, I was like, these are awesome. They fucking awful.
Show them again.
What do you have? Oh, dude, Boston baked beans slap so hard. Like they are so good. If the Dollar General was open that I drive past on my way home from this show, I would go get 5 boxes of Boston baked
Oh my
beans,
God.
being a diabetic coma by the time I go to bed tonight.
No, like actual baked beans or those candies.
Those candies. I bake beans at my house.
Crack the
All right,
fucking
well, you
tooth.
can put those on your list. Would you go with your next pick and go? Let's reveal it.
I went those big old Lifesaver
You did both.
gummies.
You did both. Your
No, I
picks.
didn't. That's one.
You did
No,
that.
he-
It's
he's got
Lifesaver
gummies.
Not
Got you.
lifesavers.
Okay, got
Yeah.
you. I was just like, okay, Lifesaver gummies.
Yeah, the big ones, the big chewy ones, all the big sugar granules on there. Delicious. Wish I knew how to buy them outside of parade season and Halloween season. I don't know where else to get them.
Amazon probably.
Amazon probably.
I mean, Walmart probably.com. Not that. Do that. All right. So we went
And then for pick number 2
or 3.
or 3. Yep.
I'm intrigued because I feel like that was a rough one. All right, here we go.
Lemon heads.
You're trying to go with the best candies, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the best candies.
Okay, so producer Zach, 3 rounds in
I
has.
like lemon heads, but I like lemon drops more than lemon heads.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So we have Twix, Lifesaver gummies, lemon heads are his 3.
Yep.
Brandon is now on the clock with Reese's, Butterfinger, and he will be up with his 3rd pick.
I think producer Zach just got lemon dropped on his lemon head at some point. See what I did there?
I saw that.
That's very well. That's very well done.
I think it's pretty easy. We're gonna go with the whatchamacallit.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
My favorite candy bar.
I'm glad
Absolutely.
that
You ever
I
had
have
Who's He
his-
What's
Tried
It?
the new Who's a What's It?
Yeah.
Also good.
Oh,
Okay. All right. I like it. I like where we're going here. So to summarize here, we have producer Zach has the Twix. He has the Lifesaver gummies, and he has lemon heads. Brandon's got the Reese's. So a lot of people's number 1 pick fell to number 2. We got Reese's, Butterfinger, whatchamacallit. Toby has Snickers, Twizzlers, solid choices coming in for his 3rd pick. Toby.
Nestle Crunch.
Oh, that's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid choice. Pretty solid. So he's got that. Obviously, we're going to update that. Crunch. Nestle Crunch. All right, I'm going to come in here. I'm going Milky Way. Milky Way.
Another solid choice.
Big fan of the Milky Way.
I really like the Milky Way dark more than I like the standard Milky Way, but I'm also I'm a really dark chocolate fan.
Yeah, I don't love the dark chocolate as much, but yeah, I mean, yeah, Milky Way for me. There we go, and I have to run it back here with another pick. Man, Halloween candy. Going with the top one. I'm gonna go with M&Ms.
Ooh,
Like
I'm
just a
surprised
little-
I fell this far.
Like M&Ms, just whether the little bags or the boxes, whatever. I'm gonna go M&Ms.
Do you think they taste better out of the bag or the box?
I like them. I'm gonna go with my vote, and then Brandon's ready to go. I'm gonna go box.
My brother in Christ, you're choosing regular M&Ms over any of the other ones?
It's classic.
I'm just asking. I'm not
Halloween candy. To be honest, when we do the trick or treat and stuff, I rarely see any other ones like when they're being handed out. I feel like M&Ms, just the little bags, the classic big one. That's the ones that you see for Halloween candy more than the other ones. So again, it isn't the best candy. It's the Halloween candy. That you
Like Brandon was just a shade away from saying my guy there for a second. Like it was about to get really serious.
I saw it. He's
He was
eating
like,
those
"This is my
baked
guy.
beans.
What are you doing?
These are awful. These are fucking awful.
I know. So here we go. Producer Zach in the 1 spot, Twix, Lifesaver, gummies, lemon heads. Brandon in the 2 spot, Reese's, peanut Butterfinger, and Butterfinger, sorry, and whatchamacallit, Toby, Snickers, Twizzlers, Crunch, and myself. I have Kit Kat, Hershey's, Milky Way, and M&Ms. And Toby is back on the clock.
I'm going with Reese's Pieces.
Solid.
I debated that in M&Ms, but can't have them both. Couldn't take them both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I would have gotten M&Ms, I think I would have gone peanut M&Ms. Those are my favorite, but I know a lot of people like the peanut butter M&Ms, but you're not. Peanut butter M&Ms don't have anything on Reese's Pieces. I'm sorry.
Pretzel or crunchy M&Ms? If you're not going to go peanut M&Ms, pretzel and crunchy, in my humble opinion.
Okay.
Mr. McDermott, you have the floor on that.
The food daddy's on the clock.
Is it my clock? All right.
It is actually your clock. Yeah.
I am taking the Heath bar.
Oh,
yes.
He's so excited because
You
he
like
didn't
Heath
take his
over
pick.
Score?
Yes, Heath over Score. Score's got that dark chocolate, which is enjoyable, and it definitely, plays well with the toffee. But Heath is a classic, and Heath.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. The Heath bar. We got producer Zach is going to make his fourth and final pick. Fifth. Remember the whole talk? You don't minimize it till it's off the screen. You're making us look like
I'm sorry.
like rookies out here.
I'm sorry. I was just excited to put my picks up.
I know.
And we are rookies in here.
All right, so you're gonna do fourth and fifth, or you just?
I'll pop fourth up right now because I know I'm going to get shit for it.
Why don't you just say it, and then you could then save yourself some editing time.
All right. I'm going to go with the thick Tootsie Rolls. Yeah.
I think you just have Tootsie Rolls in general. You got them.
I thought I had a bad
specifically,
job.
I want those really thick chody ones that come in like the little rolling sleeve.
Chody?
Yeah.
Chody. He said Chody.
They look like cat turds.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brandon. I don't know if he's exactly sure what that word means.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. What that
He
means.
knows. He was a journalist major. He knows words. Remember, he does have a word of the week.
Oh, that's
think
true.
He knows.
Well, he's definitely misusing.
I think by the way that he is picking his candy, you can definitely tell he is a diabetic. Maybe we shouldn't have had the diabetic lead off the Halloween candy, but he's picking like one. All right, what's your fifth and final pick?
Rolos, baby.
Okay. So producer Zach's team is final. His team is Twix, Lifesaver, Gummies, Lemonheads, thick Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsies.
The chode version. And Rolos is team one. So keep in mind, we are putting together a team, and we're going to have your feedback to determine which team you guys are going to vote who has the best. He will be one. Brandon will be two. Toby will be three. And I will be four. We'll open the voting soon. Well, what? Terry's chocolate orange.
Nita, where you're from, do they have chocolate oranges out in October?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Kenny Drugs only puts out Cherry's chocolate oranges around the holiday season, and I feel robbed every year when I don't get as many of them as I want all year long.
You'll have to blame Ken. He was in charge of candy buying for a long time.
Really?
Also diabetic.
The raspberry oranges or whatever.
Brandon is on the clock with his final pick, right? We're on the final round.
We're final round.
All right. This is probably the toughest pick for me.
Oh shit.
Do we get a debate or do we get to filibuster afterward? Not filibuster. Do we get to give our final synopsis of our picks afterwards?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we'll do is here's my thoughts. You guys
Okay,
let me know. And I'm sorry that we're
why you're-
looking a little unprepared this first week where it's going to continue to get better and more awesome, at least in our opinion. We do this. We'll put up the poll. We'll tell people to wait. We'll give our little spiel. Then we'll put up the poll, or we'll put up the poll before. But then we'll see who the fans determine the best while we're debating. But we will have to try to keep it like to a minute or something or two. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we don't.
Yes,
So none of us go
We'll
on
be
too
we'll
long.
be on the clock, just like the speeches after you get drafted anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's essentially just a argumentative statement as to what your picks are about and why you picked them.
I love it. All right, let's go. Brandon.
$100,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was on my next pick.
Very well done.
Nice pick.
Kudos, Food Daddy.
You'll notice on my picks, since they're done, some similarities.
Okay.
You really need to brush your teeth after you eat all your candies.
And you need to take a shot after yours.
Well, that's his point. So he doesn't have to take a shot.
Toby, what is your fifth and final pick?
Blow pops.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was debating blow pops or Tootsie Roll pops, but I think blow pops just slightly edges out the Tootsie Roll pops.
All right. I like it.
I actually want to enjoy a blow pop like it's a lollipop, Tootsie Pops. I just put them in my mouth. I'm like the commercials, 1, 2, 3, and I just crunch it.
Crunch. All right. For my last one, I'm going to go with Three Musketeers.
There you go.
Good solid choice. Three Musketeers is that safe choice.
Man, I don't know how to spell that word.
Just do Three Musk. Three Musk. We'll get it. Well, no, it's not a cologne. All right. So,
Brute.
So we're on our that was the final pick. So now what we're going to do is we're going to give everybody just a little bit of a just time to explain their picks or whatever. Just hurry up with whatever Logan's got going on so we can throw this up here, because it doesn't really matter what Logan has because he's not here today. But next week we'll probably have more of a debate with the five of us. So come on, it doesn't matter. Just put fifth.
Give that guy like mint candy corn.
So chew spit. I like
orange
it.
Circus peanuts.
Yo, I like circus peanuts.
Of course you do,
Oh,
you
fuck.
fucking weirdo.
All right, producer Zach, you had the first pick, so we'll give you the first 30 seconds to explain why your team. Is that what we want to do? Why your team is the best?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Here, let me put myself on the big screen. Anyway, my picks are simple. They're classic. They're nostalgic. They're what nobody else wants to steal out of your candy bag. You know, you're always going to have plenty. You're going to have a lot. They're going to all be to yourself, and you're only going to punch your brother in the face over them. Stick with what's going to be around. Stick with what's going to be by your side. Lemonheads for life.
All right.
I am not surprised he used the word plenty, because along with the rest of his list, I figured he'd add good and plenty in there, and I would have jumped
Logan
through the
picked
screen
those.
to choke him to death.
Yes. Virtual choking from Logan for that. But all right. Hey, obese maniacs in the house, loving the candy. All right, Brandon, you're up, my dude.
I brought these because I did a video on them, not because I enjoy them. I want that to be known.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did somebody just send you like the worst Halloween candy ever?
Check this out, though. Doesn't this look like a 1970s version of like a feminine hygiene product? Bob?
Yeah,
absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely.
Like what
Probably
the
tastes
fuck?
the
is
same
what?
too.
And then on top of that, real quick, I know we're not doing this. Who the hell designs their candy to look like that and taste like black licorice? You're fucking fooling us. This ain't right. So if you look at my list, what I'll say is this is I went with, you'll notice something that's similar. Chocolate, caramel, sugar, of course, all candy. No, none of that like Lemonhead, Twizzler. Like, I don't enjoy fruity candy. And if I do, it's going to be something like a Starburst or like a very good jelly bean. But when it comes to Halloween, chocolate, that is what it's about. And my list is solid from top to bottom. You look at that. Can we show the list one more time?
Absolutely.
You could take 4 through 2 and interchange any of those, and they would still be a good list. Number 1, Reese's. Come on. Peanut butter chocolate, the best marriage in food. That's all I have to say.
Okay. All right. Let's yep. There we go. And Toby's gonna be up. Just a recap: Snickers, Twizzlers, Crunch, Reese's Pieces, the Pieces, and Blow Pops.
Now, although I agree with Brandon's statement, he's got some really good solid choices, but Halloween isn't just about chocolate. Halloween is about a flavor palette of all the candy that you can get.
Hell yeah.
Who doesn't like sucking on the suckers and then chewing the bubble gum on the inside? Reese's, I mean, I go with the Reese's Pieces because, you know, sometimes you just don't want chocolate all over your hands. I went with some chocolate bars, but I mixed it up. I'm a huge fan of Twizzlers. I mean, everybody loves red rope candy. Like, it's just fun little things to kind of give you a decent palate and the ability to do some pretty decent trades down the road for people that have lesser palates, such as Zach.
Oh, my God. I would trade for all of the shit he has on his list for all the stuff on mine.
I would gladly do that swap. Maybe we should just be friends instead of enemies.
Oh, we're not enemies. Not at all. Can I get your Reese's and Butterfingers?
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And that's a good swap. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Brandon also made a good point. Toby, great point. And I think Brandon did get the number one, the best candy, Reese's. But
Reese's,
with
absolutely.
my list, I mean, you're going to have all 5 of these, Kit Kat, Hershey's, Milky Way. I guess I went the safe route. If you're drafting a good team, you want consistency. I mean, you know, sometimes you don't always have to take the chance like apparently producer Zach did, taking the 6th rounder maybe way too late, thinking he's going to get a Tom Brady. Continue to get your safe picks, solid picks, and every time you go trick-or-treating, these are the staples. This screams Halloween candy. If you could take any 5, that's what I did there. I put them together. 5 candies that you think Halloween. That's all I'm gonna say.
Your team is definitely the solid team that makes it to the playoffs and never the Super Bowl.
Hey, but we're in every candy bowl. We don't have to be in the Super Bowl.
It's true. It's true.
All right. So we set our piece. I'm going to put out the poll. Who won the Beard Laws draft week 1? Producer Zach, Brandon J McDermott, Toby, or Beard Laws? We're going to ask the community. I think we're good. Let's go. We'll ask the community. You guys will have pretty much the next 10 minutes to vote as we get into whatever else we're going to get into. I guess we'll put this up to you guys. I don't know if you either want to do, Brandon's got a food thing, if he wants to do a quick food thing, or if we want to do a quick hot takes, or if we want to discuss something that was spun on the picker wheel a couple weeks ago. It's up to you guys.
I feel like we haven't done the picker wheel in a long time.
It's been a while since we've done the picker wheel. Let's go ahead and skip the hot takes at least.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to me. So what we spun was about boxing a couple of weeks ago. I feel like we could do the boxing debate in about 10, 15 minutes. It was something about 80. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Something about the difference between 80s and 90s boxing. Let me pull it up real quick. While we sit here, it was right here. Thoughts on boxing back in the 80s and 90s compared to now?
Oh, the 80s and 90s compared to now?
Yep. Or, it says and now, I guess. Thoughts on boxing between the 80s, 90s, and now. So I'm assuming.
Well, I somewhat feel like we're cheating eras prior to the 80s and 90s because the golden era of boxing, that's really where it was. I'll say the 80s and 90s was like the peak of boxing. And then since then, for the most part, boxing is, in my opinion, has pretty much died out. Like it's not as exciting anymore. There seems to be way more controversy than there used to be.
Because there's drug testing now.
Yeah, judges are consistently inconsistent nowadays. I don't really feel like we have some amazingly highlighted champions anymore. I mean, there's names out there that we all know that are still boxing, like Canelo Alvarez. I think everybody pretty much knows him. You have the Gypsy King. But
do you think it's because, and I'm going to ask you guys as well, do you think it's because there's more sports in the similar kind of genre, there with the MMAs and, everything else that there wasn't back then? So you had some of these guys, not saying Mike Tyson's going to go fight in the octagon, but maybe, who knows, compared to it, maybe. And, obviously it kind of gets overshadowed because I'm a big boxing guy. I love boxing. Played it on even video games. Like I love the sport of boxing.
I think boxing was on its way out long before we saw like the major rise of mixed martial arts, UFC, that sort of thing. UFC 1993 was the first event, but I think even once Tyson fell to Buster Douglas, I think that was a pretty good marker in a lot of ways for the collapse of boxing, as maybe like, the boxing I grew up watching and the boxing that, like Toby, this isn't a jab at age, but Toby, that you probably watched most of your, young adult life and adult life, the boxing, my dad and his, all of his cousins stuff watched it. Unfortunately, the drug testing wasn't actually for steroids. It was for extracurriculars really more than anything that I think brought it down.
Yeah. Brandon, what's your thought on it?
I'm with Toby on the 90s and before the 90s, how the 90s was the peak, but before that, I mean, you go back to even the 80s and looking at a fight like Hagler and Hearns in 85. That was a great fight.
The war.
But like even the 90s, there were like every pay-per-view, every week there was a great pay-per-view on HBO that you had to pay, $29 for, whatever it was. That was just solid. And I'm not even take away Tyson, take away Holyfield, and it was still a great decade, top to bottom for fights. And the 2000s weren't bad either. But 90s, man, I think to your point too, Matt, one of the things that's crazy is that because MMA has gone up, UFC and the other kind of stuff, folks aren't boxing as much. And so young kids aren't getting into boxing as much as they were. And it used to be such an amazing sport to watch these gladiators fight for 14 rounds, right? 12, 14 rounds.
Yeah.
And now it's It's like looking at baseball versus football or baseball versus a sport basketball, where UFC is this quick backyard, back alley, fight where it can last 10 seconds. And there's been boxing matches that have also lasted that long too. But
we've all been there.
The sweet science of boxing, right? That Floyd Mayweather, who was now an outlier towards the end of his career, and not like what was considered as actual somebody who was the norm in the 70s and 80s of a boxer who could box defensively and who could go the length. It wasn't just Mike Tyson really changed the game in the 80s and 90s of what boxers wanted to do. And so anyway, I love the 80s and 90s for boxing, and I still love boxing. I just don't think there's as many heavy hitters, and I don't mean strong punchers. I mean as many superstars.
Yeah,
there once
was.
Yeah,
the names are really like to kind of piggyback a little bit on what Brandon was saying is, 90s was almost that pinnacle where no matter what the weight class, you had multiple fighters that you just knew their names.
Yep.
De La Hoya,
name a flyweight.
Dude, Pernell Whitaker. I mean, he's not like top 10 boxer of all time, but the dude had such amazing fights in the 90s, and he was really good to watch and fun to watch.
For that man to elude a punch was just
otherworldly.
But I mean, you've got these other fighters. That's why I really have I pin a lot of hope nowadays on Ryan Garcia. He's a really young kid, and his fights are actually, for the most part, pretty exciting to watch. He's the one that I kind of lie the hope in because he's got the potential to be around a very long time and get interest back in, as well as there's now a new video game getting ready to release that's boxing. For anybody that doesn't know, it's called Undisputed. It used to be called Esports Boxing Club. They're getting ready to release their multiplayer beta. So I'm really kind of eager to see how that brings.
On what platform?
Right now, it's just going to be PC, but you can check it out on Steam. If you go to Undisputed on Steam, you can request to join the beta, and if you're somebody that they want to put in, they'll send you an email.
I hope I'm the master beta.
Yeah, and it'll be sometime within the next week that public beta will be released. But I don't feel the potential for boxing is really there because we now live kind of like everybody, as far as it comes to watching something, it's, everything's become this ADHD short form, kind of video deal. That's why TikTok has taken off so well. TikTok, in my opinion, is one of those things that has changed the way that people watch content. It's such short form, and you can just go to the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. MMA really kind of brought that format to sports. Everything is so much shorter. It's so much faster. It's flashier. Not to mention the fact they've upped the game on the accepted level of violence that you're able to watch on TV. And I'm not saying that it's bad. I don't have a problem with people watching MMA. I don't have a problem with kids watching MMA. But they've brought it up to where when you go back, somebody that's an MMA fan, trying to get them interested in boxing is near impossible because they're waiting for a kick, or they're waiting for, this massive amount of blood, or they're waiting for this fast knockout. And it takes a lot of patience. A really good boxing match can go the full 12 rounds and still be exciting throughout. But that's not what people want anymore. They want that flash knockout. They want the fast, exciting motion. They want that line each other up and nobody throws a punch until it's like the perfect moment, and you get that slam and you pick them up, throw them on the ground, and you just start beating the hell out of them.
Yeah, what's crazy too is with the bare knuckle boxing too. I don't know if you've ever watched that. We had
starting to gain more and more popularity. And
we interviewed Dylan Kleckler, who was, or if not, just competed somewhat recently for the heavyweight championship in the bare knuckle fighting. And that is a wild sport. We would buy anytime there's a pay-per-view and he's in it, we put it in the studio. We were doing virtual watches and stuff like that. And then you get like companies like Barstool Sports that tries to play to the short form boxing with their rough and rowdy. Well, they get just characters. It turns into it's not boxing
they're big MMA
it's backyard fighting. Yeah.
That's the thing, is that as that gains more popularity, you're going to see things like, if bare knuckle boxing gains about this, that same type of popularity, People are going to start moving away a little bit more from MMA. And the reason is it's not as violent. It's not as, I mean, because the knockouts in bare knuckle boxing are ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, 80s and 90s boxing, that was your pinnacle. Everybody knew everybody. Brandon brought up one of the greatest matches of all time, which is Hagler-Hearns. It's literally called The War. I've never seen 2 rounds as exciting as that fight. The only thing that's ever come close that I would say that I could compare it to is all 3 Gotti versus Ward fights. That's it. I mean, those were wars. Gotti and Ward were wars in the ring. And then everything that happened prior to, I mean, we're talking about ignoring people like Rocky Marciano, Floyd Patterson, the Brown Bomber, like all these, I mean, Muhammad Ali, like, yes, did Muhammad Ali fight in the 80s? Of course he did. Was he anything like he was in his prime? Absolutely not. But, I mean, Sonny, listen, there's people that have no idea who Ernie Shavers is, and he's probably the hardest puncher in boxing history. It's literally, you ask all these other greats about Ernie Shavers, and they'll tell you he's the only person whose punch they literally feared.
It's wild, isn't it? All right, so we got 4 minutes left of the show. We're going to just give everybody a last chance. We got 22 votes. Currently, Toby is in the lead. Why do you guys always want Toby to win? Come on. Come on.
Look at me.
Fair enough. All right, so 22 votes. We're going to give you guys just another couple of minutes, and then we will end the poll. Toby's in lead 55%, and it looks like we're all playing for second, which is close because we're all like.
Because
I'm 18, and then Brandon. How is Brandon tied with Zach? Did you vote yourself?
Fuck yeah, I did.
That's some bullshit.
This is America. You're telling me George Bush didn't vote for himself?
Listen, we don't do politics in this show. That's how you get out of this show.
Just enter any presidential candidate.
No, enter none of them because we really
not even a senatorial.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested, guys. Don't at me.
He did that. All right. So he picked Reese's, so naturally he gets 55% of the vote.
Here's the thing. I brought something to the table that everybody could look at and be like, yes, that's my favorite. I brought both offense, defense, and special teams to the table. You guys either brought just offense or Zach just special teams,
He put the special in special teams with that one. But he's still tied with Food Daddy. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Brandon, you had the number 1 pick.
I've never heard a team winning the Super Bowl on their special teams.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless you're getting Deion Sanders and what's his face?
Although I did see Hines Ward return in the Pro Bowl. I saw Hines Ward return a onside kick for a touchdown, which is
what a stud. What a stud. All right, so still 22 votes. I don't think anybody wants to vote. And if anybody's watching on Facebook, Twitch, anywhere else wondering where this poll is, it's on the YouTube, the Beard Laws YouTube. So let's spin the picker wheel for
LinkedIn. If you're watching on LinkedIn, it's on the YouTube.
Twitter as well, if you're on the Twitter.
Tweets.
All right, let's do this. So this is going to be what we're going to potentially talk about next week. We're going to come back with another week 2 topic.
God, I just saw that on the picker wheel. And I'm like, I can't even answer
that square looks bigger than all the other ones.
I've never seen AEW, but I guess I'll have to watch a couple of shows to give my opinion.
There we go. And it was just put on here from tonight from Michael.
Where can you see AEW?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it on Peacock?
Standard TV. Is it on Peacock?
I don't know. I say that because every show, like the last 5 shows I wanted to watch, they've been on Peacock. So.
Yeah. There we go.
Plug for Peacock. Peacock, if you want to be the official streaming partner of the Beard Laws podcast.
That'd be cool. I think, yeah.
Get us that Peacock money.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to close the poll. Congratulations, Toby. Producer Zach, if you want to, we'll put that in the Thursday show talk. I got it up here. I'll put it in there. We'll keep track of how we're doing. Week 1 draft, or we'll put draft winners. Toby is the week 1 winner. Congratulations. If anybody has a name for it or even a topic that you want to potentially bring to the table, let us know. Maybe we'll do a post on social media and you guys can recommend it and we'll take like the top rated post or whatever. But for the meantime, we'll just discuss amongst each other.
Are we going to be
beard draws
each week?
What's that?
Are we drafting candy each week?
No. Like this was Halloween candy. So next week will be a totally different topic. Could be beer. Could be
Halloween costume.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, Halloween will be over by then, but.
Yeah, but still.
Gen suits.
Yeah. Okay. Almost had it, but threw in the Rolos. Lost it on the Rolos. There goes the vote. So apparently you can watch AEW on TNT or TBS. Very funny. So congratulations. Toby got the win. We're going to go ahead. We'll even take a screenshot for proof, like producer Zach doesn't do for his speed typing test. But either way, that's a show. That's a show. That was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I know I thought that was fun. I enjoyed doing the draft. Let's continue to do that, and we'll brainstorm. If we don't have any good suggestions for you guys, maybe like I said, maybe we'll do a post on the YouTube community or something like that, and we'll throw up a couple of things. Whatever one's voted, we'll do, or we'll just pick one. So either way, we'll be back next week. We'll be back Tuesday, Tick Tock Tuesday, where myself, Richard, and you've been whacking off. Just show off.
Who's been?
Yeah, you've been whacking off. Where's he whacking off? Who knows what he's got going on? I've seen some weird Snapchats. Oh yeah, it's dart season.
Night.
Darts.
Yep.
It's dart season, baby.
Have you ever seen the cute little case he keeps his darts in?
No.
It's like a little like like the black with chrome trim like roadie cases that they have the bands haul their gear in.
It's
like a little tiny one for darts.
Yeah, I've got those for my darts. It's about this. It's like
yeah.
Careful. All right. Well, fellas, I appreciate you. Everybody that took the time to watch this. Thank you very much. And shout out to all our YouTube members. I'm not going to go through them all, but we appreciate every single one of you. It's been scrolling for a while. I know I promised, but I think I covered my ass if I just said shout out to all our YouTube members.
Need Auto Queen, Zach Sweeney, Toby's Every, Bomber 25021, Grimlock, Elo, Lalita, Copper John's Beard Company, Willie Webbs. This does go very slow.
You went too hard in the paint. You're like,
Rosie Gardner,
I'm trying to show off. I'm trying to show off. We're just going to
Jennifer McCowan, Kush Kelly, Navy Jesse 50. You've been off every week. Why are you still letting me go? Don't make me push the end broadcast button.
Well, I thought you were actually going to finish what you started.
Oh, Brooke Phelps, Eugene Skeeter, Michael Kelly, Firelord, Jennifer Suits, Kevin Van Cleve, Angel Lynn Coons, Joan Meyer 86, Dragon King, Michael Kruger, Valhalla Queen.
Almost got you.
Amanda B. Fritz, Becky.
There's
Baresi.
no Fritz. It's Fitz.
Oh, it's Fitz.
Yes.
Oh.
I apologize, Amanda.
Jake Panletta, Rob motherfucking Jones, and Cracky McGack. Bye.
Cracky McGack. That's it. We ended it, and I'm pressing end now. So see